Hey y'all, I'm doing a movie review. The name of the movie is called Good Morning Veronica. It's on Netflix. And I watched it last night, so it's a fresh topic to me. But what got me to thinking, because if you go watch the movie, if you haven't watched it yet, you're going to be like, why she said it's a good movie? For one, it called me, I like thrillers and I like suspense. And I also like when you cannot predict what's happening in the movie. That's what I call a good movie. And then the ending of season one was considered to me a good movie. I'm sorry, it's a series. It's not a movie. It's a series. So I finished season one last night, and I was starting on season two, but season one I did it in one day. So it ended like at 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. It was that interesting, and so I started like 3 episodes of season two, but then they kind of fell off a little bit to me, so I kind of went to sleep. But after this, I'm gonna go back in there and finish season two. I don't know how many seasons they got, but I have to check and see. So this movie was crazy to me because I'm not a weak woman, and the wife in this movie, she was so weak. And I had to think to myself, have I ever been weak for a man like that? But I had a situation some years ago where this guy, he was a credit card scammer. And he asked me, he's like, do you want to make some money? I was like, yeah. But once I figured out he was a scammer, I was like, nah, I'm not going to let a man get me in trouble. But so in this movie, this man was a police officer. And he was in a corrupt group of police officers. He wasn't by himself. But everybody knew he was killing girls. And what made me say this woman is weak, the wife would go with him to the bus stop and pick up like foreign girls off of the I won't say foreign because this movie was not correct with the lip thing. So it was in a different language. So the lips and the words don't match. So that's one thing. But anyway, they would wait for these girls get off the bus, and the wife would go trick the girls so that they would go to her house. And she was like, yeah, we need a maid. We have kids. And the woman, most 90% went with the girl. And her husband ended up taking these girls to a warehouse. And I'm kind of thinking the wife was a victim too, because he would put a box on his wife's head so she can hear these girls screaming and stuff like that. But she acted like she didn't know what happened to the girls afterwards. Now, what got me is she was acting like she was still in love with him, even though he was doing this stuff to these girls. They showed a scene where they were kissing all at the picnic, and I'm thinking she wasn't a willing participant at first, but she very much so was a willing participant. She very much so was a criminal herself. But then they showed her, she was, he called her Birdie. And in his drawings, he had like a bird cage. So she was kind of a victim, where she let herself be a victim, because he would not let her out the house or anything. She was actually scared to leave the house. But she could take the trash out. So in my mind, you can escape at any point, any time. You could leave him. Even though he's a cop, you just got to plan it out in your head. Don't trust no cops. Get on the bus that y'all was tricking them girls who came in on the bus. Get on one of those buses and get out of town if you really wanted to go. But the girl wasn't trying to go nowhere. But anyway, what's also confusing is, okay, so this man had a grandmother, and every time he would get ready to hurt one of these girls, he would go see his grandmother, and she would do like a ritual on him. So I'm like, and then she was like, there go the girl. So they never did explain what the grandmother got against women. So I understood that the dude was in an orphanage. So that would make a man not like women or motherly figures if his mother wasn't around. I can kind of understand that because that happens in real life. Men, some men just hate women. But anyway, they never did explain what the grandmother was doing rituals for him. But some countries, they believe in sacrificing people. They believe in taking people's heart. It's just some stuff that I was about to say weird, but it's just some stuff that you cannot explain that people do in real life, which is horrible. But anyway, the wife was helping her husband kidnap girls, and the episode started off with, I think, the last 3, but he had been doing it, they say, like 15 times. So they didn't do the whole 15 times in season 1, but when it came down to it, they had been doing that stuff for a while. And then the wife acting like she got tired of doing it and wanted answers. And it was weird because he was like, if his wife had a miscarriage, then they would go down there and get girls and hurt people, which is weird. Like the mentality of some of the psychos. But what I liked about the movie is that the grandmother, she was wrong, and the wife, she was wrong. And at the end of the movie, they got their just dues. That's what I did like. I'm like, good, they got her. Well, he got her. You know what I'm saying? Because I did not like that at all. But it was so easy for them to go and her to trick these girls and be like, yeah, come with us. And then the husband would like tase them, because you always be wondering, how are they getting all these people? And I guess it sounds so good for somebody who just come in town on a bus. If they come in town on a bus, they probably in need. You know what I'm saying? Because the bus is the cheapest form of transportation. And they were preying on these people. So the criminals have everything already figured out to the T. But the lady who's hunting, trying to get him together, is a police officer. And come to find out, her father was affiliated with the orphanage that the same man, that the cop, that he was affiliated with. So, and then one thing she figured out is that they said that her father was committing a crime, but it turns out they end up killing her father's wife, her mother. So the lady, it's a cop in there. She's real invested in what's going on, and she's trying to solve a crime. And the people, it's like more than one person in the precinct. Like, I think the whole crew was corrupt, but her, because her father kind of like kept her shelter. But they just showed a clip a little bit that her father was not an innocent person. And so I thought they were showing her father in a clip with this little girl. And you can tell in my confusion because it's another little girl was going through the same thing when her father was so good to her, but he ended up being a criminal too. And he's ended up trafficking and molesting, raping these girls. But the girls are weak. They just staying around him because he's in a position of power. And that happens a lot in every society. Now, like I said, this was not American made. It was some other country. I can't even think of it right now. But let me see, can I pull it up right quick? Oh yeah, Veronica's where's info? But yeah, I could not believe. I don't want to be on here too long looking for it. But anyway, you can look it up on Netflix. It's called Good Morning Veronica. And I just cannot believe what the husband was doing and what the whole crew was doing. But I feel like the husband, the wife, and the grandmother got justice in this movie. Now, if you want to discuss this movie, you can leave a comment and we can discuss it again. But right now, I'm about to go watch part 2. But just to let you know, this movie, I consider it to be a good movie because it is suspenseful.